You only get 6 minutes to do that. I'm not going to take any more time for introduction. Please welcome John Skuro from Remarketable Industries. Remarketable Properties. And when you are ready to do that, I'll start my timer.
Good morning. I was very pleased to invite back to present to you today, and I hope you enjoy the show. I'm John Skuro. I went to engineering school at Clarkson College in Potsdam, New York. I designed bridges and buildings, and from there I went on to continued education, got my MBA, and I went to the marketing fashion world of downtown Manhattan. From there I saw too many movies and plays of the death of the salesman. I realized with the black hole of retailing that I'd better change, so I went into, actually it was Eyewear, and became president of a company, and that way I could only fire myself, so I'm in a position of stability. So what happened from there, we moved to Virginia Beach, and the interesting part is in Virginia Beach, the fishermen would tell me how they lost their Oakleys, fell overboard, $400 or $500 glasses. So here I get the full circle where I put my engineering degree with the marketing, with the fishermen, and decided to design something. This is really annoying. These are croquis, and this is the first time I've ever worn them. They are really annoying me, and they're also a little bit ugly, but I put them on so you can see what they look like. So what I wanted to do is, so you didn't have to wear these 24/7, I put them inside the temples, and that's what you're going to see in my patent. So therefore, when you're done with your day of fishing or whatever you're doing, you just push a little button, they retract inside the temple, and then you can go out to the opera without looking totally silly. So I guess I click right on this one here, Steve? Yeah. Todd, would you give out those? Thank you. I'm not a good clicker. Let's go. This is my patent. It's one of 6 patents that I developed for this. The first patent was utility, and what it did is it protected someone from stealing it, although somebody eventually did. There's $100 billion invested in this eyewear business, so it's quite a lucrative business once you get into it. It's concept selling. But according to the Eyewear Council, 50% of all adults will either break or lose their glasses in any 1 year. So therefore, we have a repetitive market. This is my wife, who agrees with me. She doesn't want to lose those Oakleys, and they did cost that, but I got them for free. But we still try. She's wearing a pair of them. This is what a croquis looks like. It's also called a lanyard. And like I said, I think they're very uncomfortable, and I tried to replace them with something a little bit more practical. That's me. I just wanted to let you know who I was. I'm getting ready to market my product right there. This is it. This is what the glass takes on. This is actually only a digitally resin prototype. So what it is it's not fully fashioned yet. It goes in 3 positions. The first is the active position. If you were a construction worker, you would push a button, the strap would come tight behind your head. And this is the relaxed position, whereas if you didn't want to have on top of your head or on your chest, the strap can extend. The trick to that I'll tell you a little bit later. You can see how the strap just comes right back out. And again, this is the relaxed position as a lot of us wear our glasses, which are either hanging down or on the top of the head. And finally, the position that we go into, and that, the third position is the passive position, and you're back to a fashion pair of glasses. So you're no longer looking like this, or do you have that encumbrance of the croquis on you. And this is just an example of a friend of mine of this. The ticket is still on his glasses, but you can go out and do other activities and look like you're a fisherman at night. This is the CAD of the inside of the guts of the thing. The good thing about this patent is that this is all we make. The glasses themselves are bought from China, and you don't have to be a glass manufacturer. This can be done by Mattel. All you have to do is put these 3 pieces into a mold, and then you connect them to there's a universal joint right now that happens on the glasses at the hinges. So this particular mechanism that's inside this glass, it can be universal to any pair of glasses. That's the key part right there. That's one of the as I'll explain to you after the video stops, how you get 13 inches out of 5.5, and that's the key. Again, we're back to the passive position where it returns to a normal pair of glasses. By the way, this costs 25 cents when you order from China. That's the total cost of that glass, believe it or not. It's just a regular cookie cutter type of glass. The temple itself doesn't have much of an add-on either. And this, of course, would be done correctly with all the fashioning of the curves and everything. And this is just a little video of my friends and I did.
but you said they were $25. You should have had these remarkable retainers.
He was supposed to kick in, I was supposed to take a picture. I was standing in the lake, but he kicked in. That's my wife and my friend there. But the trick to this, again, is that I gotta take these things off. I am really, this is very uncomfortable. And how many of you wear these, by the way? Do you find them uncomfortable at all?
Yeah, well, I got used to them, but yeah.
This is the first time I've ever made a presentation with them on there. So, oh, would you pick these up? Everyone got one?
Yes.
Thank you. So this is what the actual product looks like. And once again, what I did, I worked with well, the first thing I have to tell you, I forgot. After I went into Manhattan and did that work, and then I went and got my own company. I went with the eyewear company, I was president, but I went to the owner of the company, I said, I have a great idea. And this was what I showed him. Can you imagine that? I said, this is how we're going to do it. And from there, I said, take it to China and have them develop something better. China doesn't develop, they copy. So that was the end of me right there, as far as this. So I knew I had to do it myself. So I spent 5 or 6 years. And I worked with IE and IDs, and I did most of the work myself. I did a lot of prototype work myself. Again, I apologize for the non-beauty of it, but it works. And it works darn well. So what happens, I hope it works just one time, is you just go like this and it locks. There's several things that make it very hard to replicate or copy. First off, it has to lock on the outside. If it doesn't lock, then it's not going to retain. And there's a simple button release and it goes right back in. What my greatest worry about this was that what's going to happen in the heat. So what happened after I designed this, I'm in real estate also. And when the real estate market crashed, I didn't want to sell property to people who didn't want it. So I went to Phoenix and I started buying property. So for 6 years, I mistakenly put this in the attic. And it sat there in the heat 130 degrees for 6 years. And that's the only warping is this. And what is important is that what's inside here did not melt, did not deform, and didn't stop working. This has also been out of my custody to China, India, the West Coast, the East Coast, and it did not, that's still working after 10 years, which I find amazing. So what you do is you go, sure. It's not meant to be tried out. You got to be careful what's happening there, because again, this is a digital resining. It is not a plastic, and I'll explain that to you.
Ooh, are they magnetic?
Yeah, well, the good thing about the magnetic is you don't even have to do it. It will catch its own way. And also, the particular magnets there are set for OSHA. So you want a 2.6 pound release so you can't get strangled. So what happens here, and I'm going to show you, you look good in those. And they're not uncomfortable, are they?
No, they're very comfortable, and they're just a prototype, and they're sturdy.
Just a prototype. So what's good about this is when you are, see again, it's the OSHA release. There were so many things that went into this. What is inside here has to be 100% memory, because if it doesn't, it's not going to go back to its original form. It also has to have an 80% elasticity, because it has to be able to expand. Those two things require very specific materials, but they're not expensive. So what you do when you're utilizing this, and to give you an example, when you want to be a construction worker or something heavy, it's tight around the back. All you do is push the button and the strap goes clicks in. When you want it to come off, it goes like this, and it goes click, and it hangs down. When you want to get rid of the whole thing, you just go like this, boom, and they're regular glasses. So there's a lot of functions for this. Now here's what's interesting. I initially designed this just for fishermen, and also any sports. But it also went to kids. I have 6 patents, each one is for kids and for readers. What happened now, after the 10 years since I started this, is the greatest thing that could have happened to me and probably the industry, augmented reality. Google Glass started this 5 years ago, and I contacted them. But they dropped it, believe it or not. It didn't work for them. Did you know that Google Glass is gone now? Yeah, they're out. But this augmented reality, that looks just like my glasses. This is exact. And how do you hold this heavy thing on your head? Not only that, but we also have now the federally mandated police cams, which are going to be on the head. That's got to be held on. But once again, you don't want this thing pulling in the back of your head the whole time.
All right, John?
Yes.
We got 20 minutes for questions. So first, let's thank John for the presentation.